Welcome back, Math 10 scholars. Mrs. Parsons here, and today we're going over Skill 27 notes on compound probability. So a couple things we need to talk about before we go into probability, and one of them is the multiplication counting principle, which says the possible outcomes for compound events can be found by multiplying possible outcomes for both events. Okay, and this comes in handy as we go into probability because it helps us define our sample space. And our sample space is all possible outcomes of something. And we need that for probability. So how are we going to use this multiplication counting principle? Well, if we have a student who can pick from 3 clubs and 5 sports, how many different options can this student pick from? Say if he was choosing one club, this person can do one club and one sport. So I'm going to do this. C club, S for sport. So how many clubs does he have to choose from? 3, right? And he has 5 sports to choose from. So he has, using the multiplication counting principle, 15 different options on how he could choose one club and one sport. If a caterer offers choices below for a dinner menu, how many ways can a person select a dinner with one appetizer, one main course, and one dessert? Okay, so this person has 3 things to choose. First, they're going to pick an appetizer. Next, they're going to pick a main course. And then they're going to pick the most important thing, dessert. Okay, and using the multiplication counting principle, my appetizers, I have 3 options, times how many main course options I have, times how many desserts I have. And 3 times 4 times 2 is 24 different ways that I could pick 3 appetizers, 4 main courses, and 2 desserts. Okay, a compound event combines 2 or more simple events that occurring together. For example, rolling 2 dice, flipping 4 coins, scoring 3 baskets. Okay, these are events that can occur together. Independent events are probabilities of compound events that do not influence each other. Okay, and to find the probability of 2 independent events, we use the probability of A and B happening is the probability of A times the probability of B. Okay, an example of 2 independent events are rolling a coin and picking a card. Okay, those do not influence each other. Or flipping 2 coins. Okay, if I flip one and it's heads, and then I flip the other, the fact that I got heads the first time isn't going to change the probability of my second one coming out to be a heads or a tails. They're 2 separate events. So if I have a spinner and it's divided into 8 sections, Jason spins the arrow 4 times, what's the probability that it lands on an even number all 4 times? So what are my even numbers on here? I've got 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, and I'm rolling this, or spinning it, sorry, 4 times. So the probability the first time that it lands on an even number is 4 out of how many numbers are on that spinner? 8. I go and I spin it again. What's the probability that it's going to be even? 4 out of 8 again, because nothing's changed with that spinner. And I spin it again, and I have a probability of 4 out of 8 of being even. Probability that it lands even again, 4 out of 8 for all 4 of my spins. So that gives me 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 256 over 4,096. I can change that into a decimal if I wanted to. Okay. What's the probability of flipping heads on a coin and then rolling a 5 on a 6-sided die? Okay. Probability of flipping heads on a coin. Sorry, Okay. How many heads are on a coin? Just one, right? How many sides are on a coin? 2. Okay, hopefully you guys have seen a die before. Probability of rolling a 5, well, there's only 1 5 out of 6 sides. Going to multiply them together. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 6 is 12. So the probability of flipping heads on a coin and then rolling a 5 on a 6-sided die is 1 out of 12. Okay, sometimes you have mutually exclusive events. Okay, and if that happens if both events cannot occur at the same time. Okay, for example, a coin being both heads and tails on the same flip. Those two events, it being heads and it being tails, are mutually exclusive. It cannot happen at the same time, right? Me being a freshman and a junior at the same time, those events cannot happen. Okay, independent events, we talked about, sorry, dependent events, not sure what I said. We talked about independent events earlier, are compound events that influence each other, and the outcome of one event depends on the outcome of another event. Okay, so this is the probability of A then B happening is the probability of A times the probability of B after A has already occurred. You'll see dependent events happen if like you're drawing something from a bag, but you don't replace it and put it back in, because then the probability changes. So for example, if you have 5 quarters and 5 pennies in your pocket, you're going to select 2 coins without looking or replacing them. What's the probability that you'll pick a quarter and then pick a penny? So my 2 events, we start off, is that first I'm going to pick a quarter. Well, how many quarters are there? 5. Out of how many are in that bag? Right then and there. 10, right? So that's my first event. Then I'm going to pick a penny. How many pennies are in that bag? 5 of them. Out of how many? It's not 10, it's 9. Why are there only 9 coins in that bag? Because I already drew the quarter and I didn't replace it. So here it's only 9. Okay, so my probability has been affected because I drew that quarter out first, making it a dependent event. So then I go ahead and multiply these through. 5 times 5 is 25. 10 times 9 is 90. And I get 5/18 when I reduce. A bag contains these tiles, 6 vowels and 10 constants. Amanda selects 3-letter tiles from the bag without looking. She does not replace the tiles back in the bag. Oh, that's where that dependent event comes in. What's the probability that she selects all constants? Okay, so she's drawing out of that bag the very first time. What are the odds of her getting a constant? Well, the first time she draws, it's 10 out of 16. 10 constants in that bag, 16 total. What about the second time she draws in that bag? How many constants will there be? There will only be 9. Okay, 1 less than 10 because I drew a constant the first time. Out of how many are in that bag? Not 16 anymore. Now there's only 15. I draw again. How many constants are in that bag? 8 of them. Out of how many are there? 14, because I've already drawn 2 out of there. Okay, so now I multiply through. 720 over 3,360. I reduce that all the way down, and I get 3/14. C. Okay, 7. From a group of 3 girls and 6 boys, 2 will be chosen to attend a conference. What percent chance is there that the first person chosen is a boy and the second person chosen is a girl? Okay, so my first event is that I choose a boy. So how many boy options are there? 6 out of 3 girls, 6 boys, gives me 9. Next, I'm going to choose a girl. How many girls are there? 3 out of how many? It's not 9 because I had already chosen one person. So there's only 8 people left. 6 times 3 is 18. 9 times 8, 72. Reduce that to 1/4. Okay, all of these are percentages. So what percent is 1/4? It's 0.25, which is 25%. So my answer is B. All right, so hopefully you've learned a little bit about compound probability, independent events, dependent events, mutually exclusive events, and how to calculate those. Thanks, you guys. Have a good day.